Nickelodeon has always hated and mistreated the Avatar series, so no, I am not surprised that they pulled it from a theatrical release. This is just the norm. This started back with the original series, which they never really did anything to. They just sort of ignored it, didn't market it, didn't make any merchandise for it. But that all changed with the live-action adaptation in 2010, which we all like to try to pretend doesn't exist. You see, the original creators of the show, Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzko, originally did not want a live-action movie adaptation to occur, but they did agree to it as long as they could direct. However, Nickelodeon said no once again. Trying to be good sports, they still agreed to consult with the series, but they were horrifically mistreated by the studio and completely dismissed for every one of their concerns, which then involved them pulling out. You see, that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to production of this series. They also completely rushed the production of it and completely miscast the entire movie. With this one in particular being very bad. You see, that is Nicola Peltz, who was cast for Katara, and her father is Nelson Peltz, billionaire and businessman. He is a heavy investor when it comes to Nickelodeon, and it is rumored that they owed him a favor, and his favor he requested to cast his daughter in the film. This caused them to have to cast the entire Water Tribe to match her ethnicity. But to be honest, I don't think they really cared about the ethnicity of their castings, as Jesse McCartney was originally cast to play Zuko, but was changed out in the middle due to internal politics. The exact reasoning is unknown. They then went on to cast the only people of color in the entire film as the villains, and at the last minute something else happened. You see, James Cameron's 2009 Avatar came out and it was a huge hit, and so they wanted in post-production for the entire film to be changed to 3D so that maybe people would get them confused and buy a 3D ticket. This resulted in the studio having to rush to get it completed and supposedly having to cut 30 minutes of additional footage as they just could not finish it in post-production in time. Not that we really needed it, if we're being honest. But the mistreatment doesn't stop there. Their pièce de résistance is of course Legend of Korra, which is one of the most mistreated series on Earth. You see, they didn't even really want to greenlight the series. They originally didn't want it because it had a female lead, and supposedly the head of Nickelodeon stated that girls will watch shows about boys, but boys won't watch shows about girls. The original creators convinced them to greenlight it anyway, as they did test screenings and found that little boys claimed they did not care that Korra was a woman. And so production of the series continued, with them ordering a 12-episode miniseries that was supposed to be very contained. And so they wrote it that way, but mid-production they decided, no, let's make it 26 episodes and ordered a season 2. This resulted in season 2 just being kind of bad and incongruous in storyline. In addition to that, they also traded out animation studios midway through season 2, so some of the animation quality is a little off as well. But midway through season 2, they did it again and asked for them to make it a 52-episode series instead, greenlighting seasons 3 and 4. They then went to work on the scripts for seasons 3 and 4, and season 3 in particular was an extremely good one. But the studio undermined them again, and the last 3 episodes of season 3 never broadcasted on television. Now keep in mind, this is 2014, so streaming's not as big a deal yet. And they didn't even put it on an official streaming platform, they simply put it online at Nickelodeon.com. They did this again for season 4, where they never broadcasted it on Nickelodeon itself and only put it directly online, which completely limited viewership. Many people have speculated whether they did this because of Korrasami. I think they just genuinely did not believe in the show. After this, for the most part, they kind of just ignored the series, but then in 2018, something amazing happened. They finally gave the rights to streaming to Netflix, and so then Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra went to streaming. This caused a huge increase in popularity, which caused Netflix to want to make another live-action adaptation. And once again, the original creators were said to be involved in production. So everything looks good, right? Wrong. In 2020, they then released a letter to fans saying they were withdrawing their involvement in the series due to production difficulties and not being heard again. They once again were being mistreated by the studio. Now, I admit this one is a lot better than the 2010 version, but it's still missing some of the heart of the series. Which brings us to modern day, where they have made their own studio and had announced a new movie, which was supposed to have a theatrical release but has been delayed multiple times. And it's a shame because both of these series have been heavily regarded as some of the greatest of all time,